I don't wake up dreading what I do. I wake up fortunate for what I do. Not that like I don't have the days where I'm like, whew, all right, well, I probably could be doing less work. And you know what I mean? Like if I was working a 9 to 5, but then I quickly squashed that. I'm like, actually, that's not for me. So no, never. I love this. I'm passionate about this. And so, yes, it's a lot, but I'm working on something. I'm building something.
It is not every single day where I get to meet someone who I've only seen through the phone on social media, but honestly, it's what has helped spark a interest that I have in doing this because I'm bringing from what was behind the phone to right in front of me to listen to more of all of the amazing things that people like yourself are doing. So without further ado, who is Kristin?
Well, first of all, thank you for saying that. It's super sweet. I feel the same way about you. So yeah, I thought a lot about this question. I've never been asked this question. And I think it would be so easy to answer by saying all the things I do, but that's not really who I am. So I would say Kristin is highly passionate, very driven, motivated, creative, a mom, an entrepreneur, emotional, I would say dramatic. But above all else, I feel like Kristin is somebody who likes to be a light in the lives of those that she meets. She loves to encourage other people.
And it's no doubt that you have the passion for everything that you do, but is that something that you've developed over time or just always had?
So I think in the social media space, it's something that I've definitely developed over time. I think the passion is something that I've always had. It's just sort of transformed and evolved through time. And so I've become very passionate about helping brands, especially in Cleveland. I work with a lot of small businesses in Cleveland, just helping and encouraging them with their social media strategy. And it's something I'm super passionate about.
How do you even get started with doing something like that?
I knew you were going to ask me that question. I was hoping you'd ask. Yeah, so it's funny. I really love how life takes you on a journey and how everything you do, like everything is meant for the next thing. And so I worked in a digital marketing company for a while, and it was really great. I loved it. And as I was working in the digital marketing space, I had like my friend Ashley, actually from Relevant Clee, kind of came to me and she was like, oh my gosh, I would love you to do my social media. And that was the moment that I realized, wow, I think I could be doing this on my own too, but didn't really quite know like how that would ever look. And then the company that I was working for actually started making some shifts within the business. And it kind of just like opened up this opportunity for me to branch out on my own. And so Casually Social started. And I guess I should say too, like I had started on the social media space as Casually Kristin first. It was in the height of the pandemic where I was like, man, I've always loved beauty and style and hair. Like as a little girl growing up, like all I ever did was want to do my aunt's hair when they would come over. Like it was very much like a part of me. And during the pandemic, I was actually working in ministry. And we were working from home, and I just thought, you know what? Like, I think this is something I can do. I just got this stirring to take a leap of faith. And I am definitely a person, like, I'm not afraid to take a leap of faith. I will do it. And so I did. And at first, like, a lot of people were like, Kristin, what are you doing? Like, what's going on? And I was like, I don't know. I'm just taking a chance. This is something fun. And had I never taken that step, like, I wouldn't be here today. And so I just think it's really cool what life, like how it will lead you on your path and your journey, and the people you meet are always for a reason.
I wanted to take a moment to say good on you for taking that leap of faith.
Yeah.
because it's something that not enough people have enough confidence in themselves to be able to do.
Yeah.
And you did that. Like, you believed in yourself. You knew the value that you were able to add, and it allowed you the opportunity to have an impact on not only yourself, but those that you are supporting.
That is so sweet. Thank you. Yeah, it wasn't easy. Like I said, I had a lot of people who were like, even close to me, who were kind of questioning, like, what are you doing on this social media? And, I think it's just so, to me, it's like, you have to just stick to yourself. You have to, if you have a dream or you want to try something, go for it. And you can't always listen to what everybody else is going to say, because regardless, like, they're going to be commenting on if you're doing well or you're not doing well. So you might as well just go for it and give it a shot. So that's kind of what I did. And I'm so thankful, because here I am today, and I'm so blessed to be able to work with a lot of small businesses and brands and just encourage them and help them in this social media space. And again, it never would have happened had I never taken that leap of faith.
Yes. Now, you speak to it in regards to people asking you the question of, like, what are you doing? And in the way that you had said it, it did have like a positive and curious undertone.
Yeah.
But is that how these questions like were actually coming in?
Not always. Not always, but I think sometimes people don't always understand, and that's okay. You're going to be met with resistance sometimes for things, and you're going to be challenged. But I honestly kind of used it as fuel to really kind of push myself and grow and just go from there and stay true to who I am. And, but yeah, I mean, I appreciate those people though too. I appreciate that they felt like they cared enough to just reach out and see, like, hey, what's going on? What are you doing? But yeah, so I don't know. Yeah, it was a little different.
Yes. Now, you are posting through Casually Social, but then you're also posting through your own personal posts.
Yeah.
Where's that divide amongst the two?
So actually, Casually Kristin came first. It was just my personal space. It's a creative outlet, and today it's still a creative outlet. I don't look at myself as like an influencer or anything like that. It's never been like the thing that I see myself as. It's always been just a creative outlet. I really, really enjoy creating like vibey content or pushing myself to get cool photos or videos. And Casually Kristin is a space for me to do that. And I do love style and I love hair. So that's the channel of like how I'm able to. And in the process, I'm hoping that like, hey, I can reach other women and encourage them. I've built some amazing friendships from Casually Kristin. And so that's what that page is for. And Casually Social started once I kind of branched out and decided to start doing social media management for small businesses in Cleveland. And so that's like the difference. And that's kind of how they both started.
Now, you've developed a team outside of just yourself, right?
Yeah. My sister Amanda, she's awesome. Actually, growing up, like Amanda was always considered the creative one. And I was always considered more like the academic one. And it's funny how I think like when we speak over people and we give them titles, how much like we don't realize that people can sometimes ascribe to that or that's what they become. And so growing up, I always thought, well, I'm the academic one. My sister's the creative one. And it wasn't until much later that I realized, like, no, I have a creative passion within me. But my sister, she does all of like our website design and email campaign. She's the graphic designer. She's very introverted. So like we're very opposite. I'm very extroverted and she's introverted. So she loves to be behind the scenes. Like she's like, I'd rather be behind the computer. And then Caitlin is the sweetest. Just the most type A, perfect attention to detail person. We met through Instagram. And Yeah. She attended an event for one of my clients, and we got to meet, and we just made a connection. Yeah. And Caitlin had been in retail for many, many years, so she brings this amazing aspect to Casually Social where she's able to help a lot of our boutiques with some of their business aspect, in the retail environment. Mm-hmm. But she's a social media strategist for us. So she is actually going off to law school, though. Yeah, she's moving. She's leaving. We're all very sad. But she is still part of the team on a smaller, amount. So she's still very much part of Casually Social.
Yes, I understand she offers a specialty of organization.
Oh, gosh.
Also through.
Yes. I mean, her type A, I consider myself an organized person for sure. I love organization, but Caitlin is to another level. Yeah. So sometimes when we're together, her organization, I know she's got it together. She's got a list. She's fine details. It allows me sometimes to just be able to relax too and be in the moment and relate and all of that. So it's a beautiful relationship. I've always been able to depend on her.
That's so great because not enough companies or organizations are able to work together in a way that allows you all to move together in one direction.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And even too remotely, we're essentially, we get to meet up every once in a while, especially content days. And sometimes we meet at coffee shops to strategize. But to be able to really rely on one another from from working from home in different spaces is really cool. So we definitely have a really good synergy. And it's something that I want to protect as we add more people to the team.
And it's funny because you were talking about working remotely, but you are always out and about. You're always out and about.
Oh my gosh, I know.
I love your content days.
Yeah. I love sharing the behind the scenes of a content day and what goes into it. Yeah, I'm definitely all out and about all around Cleveland, but I love it. Yeah. I love being able to go visit my clients. One of the things with Casually Social that I knew when I got into the business is I was these are relationships to me. They're not just clients. These aren't people that I'm just working with. This is a relationship. Your dream, your business means so much to me. I'm going to pour myself into this to help fuel you. And I want to become friends in the process. I want us to have a relationship. And I've been so fortunate that up to this point we have that. So every time I get to go to a content day, it's meeting with my friend and, hey, how's it going? And it's truly wonderful. So going all around, I love being able to do it because I get to go see clients and just connect with them.
You said that so beautifully.
Oh, thank you.
Because it's every bit of, in some cases, what I've come to understand that doing this podcast has allowed me. Mm-hmm. Gosh, I mean, whether it is helping me socially, professionally, or just personally, it has impacted me in so many of those different ways.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
It was so fun. Rebecca Maxwell, who was one of our first guests, I saw her at the bar that she was working at.
That's awesome.
And it's just when you walk in and you see a friend and someone that you know, that was a relationship that transpired because Colin Stevens referred her to be on this podcast.
Those connections are awesome. And again, it's that you met that person, which then led to meeting this other person, and you just never know where also that takes you. Yes. So I think it's so cool. You can never doubt why you're meeting somebody and the impact that you can have in their life and the impact that they might have in you and yours.
Absolutely.
So it's a really cool journey. That's awesome.
Yeah. And you're so right. It's a journey, and you have not necessarily entered into a world or a career or a profession where things are written out for you to do to become successul. Mm-hmm. You've been figuring out this on your own. Yeah. How have you been able to navigate those waters?
Oh, Jacob, that is such a funny question. Yeah, you know what? It's so interesting. When I got into it, I have this passion for social. I have obviously this passion for creativity and helping these brands, but the business side of things is definitely new for me. Hiring somebody, how does that look? How does it look to grow and streamline and all of that? But I am like I said, I'm very driven, I'm very passionate, and I'm very organized. So I will work really hard to learn everything I need to learn to be able to just evolve this company. And I really do think it's just step by step. And it's also understanding your seasons. I believe we have personal seasons, but we have seasons within our business as well. And so I have always been very in tune with where are we at with Casually Social? Are we in a place where this is growth season, or this is a season where we're pulling back and we're, fine tuning our skills. We are working on planting the seeds to grow. Where are we? So I'm very big on just fine tuning that, listening in to where we're at and learning everything that I need to learn. So it has been a step-by-step process. It's almost like an everyday thing where I'm okay, I've got to learn a little bit about contract writing today, so it's been a really cool experience. But I do consider myself a girl boss. So I will do it. I will learn it. I will figure it out, and we're going to nail it. We're going to do it. We might make some mistakes in the process, but we're going to learn from those mistakes, and they're going to help us grow even more.
I feel like you couldn't have bottled up a more, in some cases, perfect answer for that question. But and that's what I don't want to say it confuses me, because it's in the middle of confusion and being super impressed. But it's that's so insightful, and it is something that I feel like people definitely couldn't put into words what you were saying.
Oh, I appreciate that. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I again, I don't have a huge business background, but I'm going to learn it. I'm motivated to learn it. I will get it. And I also, again, I think the core of my business is it's a business of a relationship, to be honest. And I'm always going to work really hard for that relationship. And I'm going to protect that relationship. And I'm going to work hard for my clients. And they know that. And I don't think they're expecting me to be the best in the business world. We're in this together to help your brand grow. And that's what's important. And I'm going to foster that relationship between us. So that's always the core of things.
There's so many different things that you will never know where it's going to take you, but through the relationships that you are building, it's going to make things easier, because you're going to have the opportunity to reach out to more and more people to accomplish what it is that you're looking to do.
It's interesting too, because for Casually Social, up to this point, I've never actually reached out to anybody to grow the business. It's been, and I don't say that to be because one of the things that I am not somebody I want to be humble all the time. I want to be humble, and I want to be grateful, because I think gratitude is super important, and being humble is super important. And so I don't say that in a way of oh, I haven't reached out to anybody. Not that I'm opposed to it. It's been just a process of if you're doing a good job with a current client, it always leads to this word of mouth thing where it's hey, your social is looking really good. What's going on? Who's doing it? And because of that relationship that I have with that client, they want to be oh, it's Kristin. I'm working with Kristin, Casually Social. So great. And that's how it's really grown. And I'm just so thankful for that. I really am. And that's what I want to protect. That's what I'm man, the fact that A, not only that they wanted to work with me, but B, they felt so confident in what we've done together that they're willing to even refer me, that means a ton. It means a lot to me.
Yeah. And you're taking on so much responsibility, being in some cases responsible for the name and the face of these brands. Do you feel the pressure that's coming down on you to respect what it is that they want to be seen through the messages that you're sending through social media?
Yeah, absolutely. So, it's interesting because sometimes the client will have a creative vision in their head, and we'll be working on a project, and they'll kind of give me their idea of hey, this is what I'm thinking. And there's a lot of pressure to grab that vision and turn around and present it and like, here's this. And sometimes it doesn't exactly match, and that's okay. That's where like the communication part is so important, and we'll work on that, and we'll turn around and okay, like let me get that. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of pressure representing them, but we have really great, I have really great communication with my clients. I really do. Like, I'm talking to them to understand, hey, what's going on in your business? What's your pain point? What are we celebrating? What are we doing? What are we talking about? So keeping those lines of communication open, I think, is like what really helps us to not have a lot of like that tension or any of that pressure. I don't know. I mean, I feel it, but not that badly. If that makes any sense.
It does. And what makes me the most excited for what opportunity that you have now and the opportunity moving forward is that when a professional is doing the social media management and when it's just someone who's trying to do what professional social media managers can do.
Yeah, it's so funny. It's like social media management it's relatively new, and it's hard because the social media space is so imperative for brands. And a lot of businesses I talk to, usually the consistent thing I hear is, oh my gosh, I'm just so overwhelmed by having to do my social. I don't know what to post. I don't know what to do. And I always tell them, like, listen, you are not the only one that feels that way. It is okay. Like, you got into this because you love what you're doing. You love the retail space. You love your salon. You love doing hair. No one told you, hey, you also need to create and edit this reel and keep up with trending audio, and also know, are we using 3 hashtags? Are we using 5? Are we using 20? Make sure to use keywords. Like, you didn't get into the business to have to do that. And so that's where I come in. And I love being able, I'm an aesthetics girl. Like, I want to create vibey content. I want somebody to come to your page and be like, oh, even if I don't know your brand yet, even if I don't need your brand yet in my life, I like your page. I visually am attracted to your page. I'm going to follow your page. And the more that we put out your content, the more we're going to foster that trust, and we're going to build that person into a customer. So I love being able to do that. And you can definitely usually tell a difference, although some people are real creative and they're able to kill it on social, but sometimes it comes to a point where it's just like, I've got so much going on, I need a little bit of help. So the stories always tend to vary.
Now, with you putting together all of this content, I'd imagine that it takes up a lot of time.
Yes.
And because of that, it's stressful. There's a lot of things that need to be done in the times that it need to be done, it needs to be done. Now, I'd imagine that like burnout is always on your mind. And when we were talking before this, you were also saying how you are so cognizant of you, your body, your thoughts, your feelings, what it is that you are expecting for yourself and what others expect for you. So how do you avoid something that requires like so many deadlines?
Wow, that's such a great question. So I am definitely somebody who will work myself really hard. I will sometimes not listen to my own body and to my own self, because I will sacrifice myself for the work, for the client, because I can be a people pleaser. I really can. I want to work hard for that person. But I learned just this last year, I was diagnosed with hypothyroidism. I started like not feeling well. I was like, wow, like my energy is gone. Like I'm so tired. I don't feel like myself. And I ended up going to a functional medicine doctor, and through some work, we were able to find out like you have hypothyroidism now, likely started from some of this stress. And, we don't realize the impact of some chronic stress that we do to our bodies. Like I know myself, I'm always like, oh, my body's fine. Like I can push myself through this. And then it feels like I hit a wall, and you're like, oh, whoa, what happened here? And so something I have truly been just aware of now is making that space for myself. I do put the phone away what hasn't been done in that day. Okay, now it's time to put the phone away. Now it's time to do my nighttime routine. It's time to do my prayer journal. It's time to do my gratitude journal. I protect my mornings with a morning routine. I always do almost the same thing every morning. And that's my wellness time. I will take my breaks for myself to take a walk in nature and in the sunshine. So that's how I avoid burnout, because I'm still listening to my body. And interesting enough, I know you and I talked about the Aura Ring, but the Aura Ring will detect when my body's under stress with the heart rate variability. And so there have been times when my heart rate variability, my Aura Ring will be like, hey, your heart rate variability is changing, which can signal stress on the body. And so I definitely use that as a cue of, okay, maybe I'm pushing myself a lot more lately, and maybe I need to really get back into the self-care. I need to prioritize that sleep and everything else. So you have to fill your cup in order to be able to properly and effectively work with your clients. So yes, there are deadlines, but I'm going to make sure that I protect myself, protect my family. I'm going to take care of myself so I can do the work well, and I can organize my day so that I'm making sure that it's getting done in the right time frame.
Yeah, well, it's every bit of what Natalie Bell was talking about. Is in order for her to be able to give, she needs to fill up her cup.
Yes. I love her, by the way. She's so inspirational. Oh my gosh. I saw her on your podcast and I was like, I have to follow her. She's so great. How I didn't follow her before. I mean, she's already like inspired me with some of her content. I'm like, oh, that was so good.
Well, she's so vulnerable.
Yes.
And to be that radically vulnerable and be open, it's something that people can connect with, because as Justice was talking about on his episode, like, people only want to share what it is that is the best about what's going on with them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I work in social. So I love social, but you have to be careful. Nothing is ever good. Everything is good in moderation, okay? And social media is the same way. It can be very toxic. You have to be careful what you're consuming. And I love that vulnerability. I think people are craving that authenticity today. It's hard because we'll watch the influencers who are all on their European vacations, and we make these assumptions about their stories and their lives. And that's why even me, like, I always have to take a step back, because my page, I like to be creative. And so I will like to get like vibey content sometimes. And I'll have a sense of insecurity about putting that out, because I'm like, what's the story people are they're saying? And sometimes I'll get a message like, hey, you look like you're doing awesome. And I'm like, oh, little do they know I was just crying, like they don't know, we don't, I never want people to look at my content and think like, oh, she's got it together, and oh, she must, I don't want them to think that. And so sometimes I will put out posts that's like, hey, I want you to know, like, I struggle with insecurity. I struggle with depression. I struggle with anxiety. I struggle with health issues. Like, we are all in that same boat. Everybody's going through something. It is just hard because on social, we don't always show it. Mm-hmm. And there is always sometimes, I think, a fine line. We don't want to be like pouring out everything, right. But there is a sense of like, we need to be authentic, and we need people to know that, like, hey, we're all in the same boat, and we need to be vulnerable. So I do love that. I connect with that.
I like the TikToks that you've been pushing out, because it is, because like, I mean, there is the opportunity to learn so much about like this, there's the appreciation for what it is that you do, and then there's the opportunity to get to know you through the screen, and through those TikToks that you've been doing, it opens that door.
Oh, thank you. I do. I love being able to connect. I really, like, call me lame. I don't know. I love connecting with people. Like, I want to build relationship. Like, some of the best things that have happened on social have been like random messages that like people, they'll reach out to me and they'll be like, hey, I've been following you and I really wanted to say I love your content. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you have no idea what you did for my day. And let's be friends. Let's go meet for coffee. Like, I love that. I want people to get to know me. I want people to feel connected to me. I want to connect with them.
And exactly that, like you had said, even something as small as coffee. But, I don't know if it's like people don't have the interest or COVID has done something to
Right.
alter the connections that
Yeah.
people are interested in making or affected the effort that they want to put in. But it's like fewer and farther between that someone is just wanting to have a conversation.
Oh gosh, yeah, I agree with you on that. And I do think like the idea of maybe COVID could play into that. I haven't encountered that a ton though. I'll be honest. Like I've met a lot of really great people on Instagram, a lot of friends. I am somebody who's like open to building friendships and relationships on Instagram. So I am definitely open to like meeting for coffee and having conversation. I'll probably chat your ear off actually. So beware. But I agree with you. I do think that's something we see today. It's interesting to me, though. It really is. And I do wonder, like, what it is, how did that happen? And maybe if COVID has some sort of part of that.
Yeah. Well, and it goes back to something that Rebecca Maxwell was saying too, and that was she feels as though she is as far as she is because she's given things without any expectation that anything was coming back to her.
Which is, I mean, I think that's how we're supposed to live life,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Like you should be putting out, not expecting anything in return. Like, I love that. I think that's a lesson for life for all of us.
Yeah. And what most people, I feel like maybe don't understand who aren't taking up those opportunities is, reciprocity. It's like when something is done for you, odds are it will be done back through that initial connection.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree. And, but I understand though too, like some people are truly really introverted and it can be hard for them. And I get that. Like I'm a very extroverted person. So, but like my sister, for instance, she would be very hesitant, I think, because she's so introverted. So it's hard. But I do think like you never know what you're missing out on or what you could encounter by taking that chance, maybe meeting with somebody, having that conversation, reaching out. You just never know.
Yeah, because you never know who they know.
Yes. That's so true. Yeah. You also never know how maybe they needed to encounter you too. Like maybe it's, do you know what I mean? Like, but also too, I mean, same goes the other way around. Like maybe they have something that you need that you are going to get. I don't know. It's not, you don't necessarily have to look at everything like, what am I going to get from this? What am I going to get? But truthfully, I do think like we don't meet people by accident. So yeah, like we didn't meet by accident, which is cool, Yeah, which is a really cool connection. And now we're friends. Yes. I know this is our first time meeting in person, but now we're friends.
and I'll be honest with you, that has been something that I've loved about this is the opportunity to just sit in front of someone and get to know them has been so insightful because like I take so many points from what people talk about and you had just brought up even one of them. And that was like, you may not know how they needed to receive you. Yeah. And that's huge because part of the question as to why it is that you may want to connect with someone is it may just be, just because. Yes. Because I'm interested, because I'm genuinely curious.
Oh my gosh. Yes, I agree with that completely. 100%.
And you have to develop a genuine interest within these brands that you are working with to be able to share the message that they're looking for.
Yeah. Well, so I think like one of the cool things, I think even for our brands, like it's important for them to know their target audience, right? Well, it's important for me to know like I could not not that I couldn't, but I probably wouldn't do as well of a job for, let's say, a construction company. That's not my target audience. It's not my niche. Yeah. And I've worked in a salon, and I've always been into style. So like these are natural things, natural components about me that I truly have an interest in. And I've worked in those fields. And so those are the people that I love to work with. So I already have that underlying interest, and so I even get to work with some salons. I love salons. I love my hairstylists I work with. Shout out to Foxy Salon and Stellar Society Beauty Lounge. They are amazing. And And again, like it's funny with the journey of life, I worked at Charles Scott salons for a long time. And I met Kristin and Kim from Charles Scott. And then later on, and I've been friends with Kristin for so long. She does my hair. She's phenomenal. But later on, we got connected again, and I was able to do their social. So, but had I not worked there, had that relationship, had that connection, I probably wouldn't be working with them today. Yeah. So taking an interest in my brands and the companies I work with, a lot of the times it's just because like they already fall within this niche that I love and know and understand. So I already have that underlying interest. And then I meet them and I understand that this is their dream and this is their baby. And I want to help you. I want to take this burden of social media off your plate and I want to make it look beautiful and I want to give it my best and my all so that we can attract your target customer.
Yeah. I mean, maybe you do, but like, I don't know if you realize just how much you actually do.
Yes, I do. It is a lot. Yes. It is a lot, but it's so funny because social media management, content creation, photo shoots, like all of it, it is a lot. Yeah. And I'm very hands-on with every single one of our clients. I do have help in our clients, so between Amanda and Caitlin, but I'm still hands-on in all of them. And a lot of them, I'm 100% hands-on in handling all of it. I'm the director of marketing, actually, for Sweat Ethic, which is, a health supplements brand. They're amazing, amazing. And so, there's a lot of work, but I love it. Yeah. I love it. And so I don't wake up dreading what I do. I wake up fortunate for what I do. Not that like I don't have the days where I'm like, whew, all right, well, I probably could be doing less work. And you know what I mean? Like if I was working a 9 to 5, but then I quickly squashed that. I'm like, actually, that's not for me. So no, never. I love this. I'm passionate about this. And so yes, it's a lot. But I'm working on something. I'm building something. And I even want my kids to be super proud. I don't think they quite understand what I do. I think they're like, she works in social. They don't quite understand it. But I went into my daughter's room and she had my business card on her desk. And I was like, that means so much, Yeah. So it's worth it to me. Yeah. It's worth it. I'm determined. Yeah. I'm very determined. Yeah. And I'm passionate.
So where do you find your interests lying most predominantly to continue doing what it is that you're doing?
It's the creativity. Yeah. It is the creativity. I like being able to just create new videos, different ideas. I like to be able to get cool photos. It's always evolving and changing. So it's always fresh and new. It's never stagnant, which is something I really, really enjoy. It's actually funny. I think one of the ways that, like, again, it's the journey of life, right? And all the skill sets that we needed. And when I worked in ministry, actually, that was my biggest time for fostering, just like overseeing multiple projects. Sometimes I think we think of like working in ministry as maybe, it's got to be like kind of maybe slow. It is so fast paced. Like the church I worked for is very fast paced. I loved it. I love the speed, but it really helped me to understand like managing multiple projects. So I would help like plan and organize a bunch of different volunteer opportunities, usually like 50 different opportunities in a week for people to be able to get connected in the city of Cleveland. It's an amazing opportunity. I was so fortunate to be part of it. It's wonderful. I think they still even do it today. And that there helped me to understand how to manage a lot of different running projects. So I'm able to use that skill set today and how I'm managing a multiple amount of clients and the different roles and responsibilities that come with that.
Well, and then throw in the fact that the social media algorithm expectations, I mean, those change so often. How do you even keep up with social media algorithms?
Sometimes I think it's funny when we're trying to figure out like the man behind the curtain, the Instagram algorithm. We're all like, the algorithm wants you to do this now. It's like, yeah, it's always changing. But what's never going to change in my mind is high quality content. That's always going to be super important. I think sticking to your messaging is always going to be super important. Sticking to your brand is always going to be super important. So there are the things that it's like, that's never going to change. Some of these different ways that we get your content to be seen a little bit more, increase your reach, maybe those things are going to change and we're going to try different tactics. But we're always going to prioritize that high quality content over posting to post. That's actually like my biggest like thing with clients, telling them is like, we're not going to post to post. You know, we got to have value. It's got to be high quality. There's got to be reason, and it's got to be directed towards your audience. Yeah.
So are there social media rules of thumb that you follow?
Yeah. I'm so glad you asked. I think like my biggest thing, especially for like different small businesses that might be needing a little bit of help with their social, my biggest thing would be know who your target audience is. I know we hear this a lot, but it's so true. You can't just assume that you are for everybody. You need to know like, if you are a boutique, who's your shopper? What does she look like? How old is she? How much money does she normally spend? What kind of career does she maybe have? What are the pain points that she has in life? Like visualize who she is, because you're going to want all of your content to speak to her. And then it's really knowing your brand colors, your fonts. If there's anything that I have a hard time with, it's coming to a page and seeing a bunch of different colors going on. We've got different fonts. Let's stick to your brand guideline. Like what fonts are we using? What colors are we using? And then just knowing that, hey, you don't have to post 7 days a week. You know, I think there was this thing for a long time where it was like, just post to post, put something out there. And that's not true anymore. It's much better to be consistent with high quality. So aim for a consistent schedule that you can maintain. Have things in the bank so you're able to continue to post. Don't like post everything that you have and be like, oh, well, now I don't have anything for another week. So hold on to it, spread it out, and definitely quality. So try to get, great pictures, some video content. You don't have to be perfect. You know, we do have to sometimes just start. You have to have a beginning. You got to start. You'll learn from there, but think about the value that you're offering as well. So I think like those are my big things to get started.
Now, what about the expectations to be set? Because, I mean, you can see accounts blow up overnight.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
I mean, sometimes that's not even for the best.
That's actually one of the hardest things. Is this idea that growth is fast. Organic growth is slow. To me, it's more important to have authentic, organic growth with an engaged audience than it is to have this high number of followers that I do not buy followers. Please don't buy followers. Like it stands out so much, and you will get penalized for it too. So, you can easily spot like okay, this one probably bought followers, and these people aren't buying from you. Those fake followers aren't buying from you. They're not engaging with your content. If you can speak to who you already have, that's what's key. So even if you have 1,000 followers, that's 1,000 people who are listening, who are watching, and they're ready to engage. And that's what's important. And I think that that's even what they're saying in 2024 is like following count doesn't matter anymore. It matters about like, hey, who your audience that you already have. So yeah, I think that's an unrealistic expectation is like, oh, we're going to grow so fast. Consistent growth is better. I want to see you just growing over time. Let's like work on that as opposed to, oh, we're growing so fast, because it's really not, there's a lot of people out there. There's a lot of creators. There's a lot of brands on social media now. So it's going to take a little more time.
Yeah. Well, you nailed it when saying that you can have as many followers, but one, if they're not engaging with your content or they're not there to like truly support you, then theoretically, yes. Because I think what's funny to me is I'll see these videos on TikTok and they will post them from a corporate account doing whatever the meme that's going on right now. And, it may pop off for the company. But, it's like, let's say that company, for example, it has a target audience of like my mom. Well, if my mom sees that video, she's going to be like, I don't get it. And that doesn't help that company.
No. That's why we also have to be very careful of trends, following trends and always just creating trendy content, because trends, they change all the time. And if you're always following the trends, you're going to find that hurts you. I think it's just sticking to, again, like you kind of said, like my mom is their audience isn't going to understand that. That wasn't for your audience. It didn't do anything for you. So sticking to your brand, sticking to your messaging, sticking to your audience, creating content for that, knowing who you are, as opposed to I'm going to hop on this trend. And sometimes it's okay, like if it's fun or whatever, but that is not your content strategy.
Correct. It's that elective reel or TikTok.
And I know I saw you doing your TikTok dances and stuff, but I
Get
don't.
Out of here. Don't even make people think that. They'll start looking for it. Like,
oh, you took them down? No, I'm just kidding. Oops. I guess we should take that out.
You're dangerous.
Oh, you're going to do though. That's right. You said that's coming next. Okay. I got it.
Yeah, I haven't released them quite yet.
Oh, were we doing one today? Okay, cool. I'm on board.
Oh my gosh, imagine. No, I think that your skill set is also matched by how presentable you are and charismatic that you are. Because I recognize that there are a lot of companies that would love you to participate in front of the camera, not just be behind the camera, but be in front of the camera.
It's so funny because, yes, I will, but I also do it because sometimes it's like, you know what? We don't have somebody else. I'm going to do it. Yeah. I'll do it. That's fine. I'm willing to do it. Yes. But I am, it is just so funny because I don't picture myself like that. Really? I don't see myself like that. Yeah. I have insecurities, for sure. And there are times too where I'm like, oh man, I'm really not feeling super confident today. I've got to get in front of the camera for this. And I'll do it. I will put my best face on, but it's not always easy. I'm very grateful that they ask me or they think of me. Like I'm so willing to do it. I will, but I certainly don't even see myself like that. I really don't, which is funny because people will be like, oh, are you doing these photo shoots and whatever? And I'm like, yeah, I guess. I don't know.
Yes, but it pulls together every bit of your willingness to help.
Yes,
and
I will.
People recognize that.
Yeah. We will do what we have to do to get the content.
That's right.
The content is the most important thing. Caitlin and I will be out there in the winter, in the storm, in the snow. We're like, let's go. Yeah. We're in a spring dress in the middle of, February, Cleveland, trying to show you the spring things. The wind is blowing. It is cold. People are looking at us and we're like, we're good. We're getting this content. It's all about the content. Yes. So.
And the more that you do this, the more content that you'll be able to produce. Now, is that the goal, to grow what it is that you are doing now to scale? Or would you say that you have other either like ventures or sub-projects or just like branches off of what you're doing?
Yeah, that's a great question. Absolutely. I am totally open to growth. I definitely want to scale, but I want to grow effectively. I am not one to be like, let's grow. I want to be able to do a good job and to protect the clients I have because they trusted me. Yeah. And so that trust means everything. And so yes, let's grow, but let's have steady growth and growth that we can handle and maintain. And I can help our team to grow and bring on the right people. I think too, like as far as other aspects of this, I'm so open to other aspects. I absolutely would love to get into some other things as it relates to casually social. But right now, I know I'm not quite there yet, And I think that too, I'm somebody who's a constant learner. So there are things that I'm already I really want to learn about this so that I can make this even better for casually social. I really want to advance my skill set. There's part of me that's I want to take photography classes. I want to continue to, just hone in on my craft, I love learning. So I consider myself a learner. So I'm always going to want to keep doing that, pushing myself to just add to my skill set.
How do you balance every bit of what's out there to be learned?
Oh.
I get overwhelmed sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm just oh, I want to do this.
Yeah.
Or I want to learn this, and this. Or I want to improve the process that I already have established for these few things.
Yeah. Oh, it's so overwhelming. I mean, at the click of our finger, we can have a ton of information. But to be completely honest, I only have so much time in a day to devote to this is my learning time, or my educational time. I even have kind of that day. I feel like Fridays are a day where I'm okay, if I'm going to learn anything, I'm going to advance my skill set. Fridays are my day during this time block. So I think because I have a time block, I'm able to kind of hone it in a little bit. And also just knowing what I'm focusing on right now. So yeah, there's plenty that I want to learn, but what am I really focused in on right now? And right now for me, it's a lot about photography. It's a lot of videography just because videos and reels are so important. I want to learn a lot of that kind of stuff. And I feel like I have a natural knack for some of it, but I am by no means an expert. So I want to know what the experts know. Teach me. I always want to be a learner. So just knowing what I'm focusing in on right now and being diligent in that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you stick well with the time blocking that you set for yourself?
I would love to be yes, I do. No. I try. I try. But, the thing about what I do is sometimes my days I can follow a great schedule. And then other times it changes and it varies. But that's okay. I know how to pivot. It's another thing that I feel I learned. I learned that hey, not every day is going to look the same. And you have to learn how to flex and pivot. It's even some of my clients, with content planning. Some of my clients is hey, yeah, we can plan out a month's worth of content. Other clients, it's we got to go week by week because things, and then even in that week, sometimes, hey, you know what? A date just changed. We got to flex. And it's I got to be on my toes. I got to be ready to do that. I got to make that adjustment. So I do think I'm able to do that. I think it's part of my personality. So it's okay that I don't always follow my time blocking. I'd like to be better. In 2024, my goal, our goal will be we will be better at time blocking. Yes, we're going to take a class.
I need one. I need one. And I'll need you as my accountability partner.
Oh, well then you have to be my accountability partner. Are you a digital planner or a paper planner person?
Honestly, I'm both.
I'm the same. Same. I put it in two places.
Yes.
I love to write. I have to write it down, I feel like. Yeah. I love a paper planner. I'm a little strange. I love school supplies, office supplies. Oh my gosh. I can't go by those aisles because I'm with all the kids and I'm I need this binder I don't need a binder. Right. But I want this binder. There's got to be a reason I need this binder and these highlighters. And I can't write with just any pen. It's got to be the perfect pen. I'm very high maintenance with my pens. So paper planner is it's got to be the right one. If I don't feel it, it's ugh.
Well, because it's I've got my iPad and I've got all these notes, but it's I can't scroll through 120 of these note pages on the iPad versus I can just like flip to it or
Yeah.
reference something or do little, sticky notes off to the side. And
Yeah.
it's just like that's so much easier for me.
Yeah, and sometimes I feel like I'm not always looking at my digital calendar. I don't know, like it just does. It's not my first place I'm going to. I love using Notion. Do you use Notion?
No.
I'm going to teach you Notion. The Notion app I really, really like. It really helps me remain organized. I also like the 5-minute, I think it's the 5-minute gratitude journal, right? So they have a productivity planner. And it's 5, like it helps you pick your 5 main tasks that you're doing that day. And they ask you to like, you kind of figure out how much time each task is going to take, and then you time block it. And then you come back and you say how much time each one did take. Yeah. So it's really good. It holds you accountable, and it helps you to only focus in on because there's only so many things we can handle in a day. Yeah. So the productivity planner is really good. This is not a sponsored post.
Could be, maybe eventually.
Productivity planner, if you'd like to work with me, let me know. No.
I gotta say, like between us having chatted up before this and then us doing this now, thank you, because you've put a smile on my face and you've been smiling this whole time, which brings us to my favorite question.
Oh, yeah.
What makes Kristin smile?
Oh, I like this question. So honestly, it's just like little things. It really is, because I am a gratitude person, and I'm really big on that. I'm really big on focusing on the things that you could be grateful for, because we all have things, even in our hardest days, we could be grateful for. So for me, it is truly like small things like my family. And I love being out in nature. I'm not a camping girl, okay? Like I'm not camping. But I love to be walking in nature and in sunshine. Like that is my thing. I always joke around that I'm like a solar powered calculator. Like, and everybody who knows me knows. They're like, oh, is it sunny today? Kristin will be really high energy and great. It's a little cloudy. She might not be as high energy.
I love the reference to those school supplies. You probably
my
walked past
gosh, you're
one.
right.
Yeah,
I was just tying it all in.
I know.
That's how I was I was bringing it to a close. And now we end with a sponsored post from our school supplies. Get your children your Walmart supply. Let's cut that. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I'm leaving that one.
Oh my gosh. Wait till we do your TikTok dance. That's it.
Where can they find you?
Okay, so I'm on social media as Casually Kristin, and then obviously Casually Social as well.
There we go.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I'm so honored to be here, and I got to talk to you. I really feel like you're a light in this space. I love being able to see your content, and I am honored that I got to be part of it. Yes. And you better show all the great clips, because I'll find you.
Most certainly. I don't know if you know how much I appreciate it. Your openness, your willingness, your vulnerability today. Every bit of the discussions that we've had today are going to help people professionally, personally, and emotionally. Because like you said, everyone is going through something.
Oh
so you made such an impact on so many people.
Oh, that means so much to me. That's honestly all I want. Like, I love being able to encourage people, build them up. I really do just want to be like a light. That's what I want. I don't get it right all the time, but I want to be a light.
There we go.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.